Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new, I'm Joni Young and I'm going to show you all step by step how to paint this dreamy beach scene. I'm working on painting paper today. It's 6 by 6 inches, but you can paint this on any surface or any canvas that you want. I've got the following colors and a few brushes, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy this one, so stay tuned and hit subscribe. So for this painting, I'm going to be using the following colors. I've got turquoise, bright aqua green, neon yellow warm, orange, pink, light blue violet, and titanium white. I'm going to begin the painting with my number 10 flat brush. I'm just going to get it a little bit wet first. And I'm going to come in first with a little bit of my turquoise and white. I'm going to take both colors and start to blend them out on the top of the paper. Working my way down, adding a little bit more of that white, and I'm going to start coming down towards the bottom and adding a little bit of that light turquoise there as well. I'm now going to take a little bit of my blue violet. I haven't washed my brush out. I like the colors together, and you see I accidentally just picked up a little bit of that pink there as I was blending the blue across, but it worked into my favor because I really like the way that looks, so that was a happy little accident. And I'm going to start pulling and gently mixing some more colors down below here, and then come in with some clouds along the top. I want to make them a little bit bigger at the very top of the paper and wiggle them towards the left so that they're getting a little bit smaller and going diagonally. So I'm going to take a number 4 flat brush now, get it a little bit wet, take some more of my blue violet and a little bit of the white, and I'm going to start working on these clouds a little bit more. I'll be adding lighter shades by mixing this white in here, and it's going to make the clouds stand out a little bit more. And then I'm going to enhance them by creating a light bubblegum pink here by mixing some titanium white with my neon pink. And don't worry if you don't have these neon colors I'm using today, you can still create this painting with regular colors. Just use whatever you have that's closest to these and your painting's going to be really pretty, I promise. However, if you're interested in purchasing these paints, they're by Holbein and I'll have them below in the description. I'm going to come up towards just above the horizon line now with my neon yellow warm, that one right there. Pick up a little bit of white, pink, and orange and start working on this area. So just a quarter of the area up from the horizon will be that tangerine kind of warm, fuzzy, peachy color. And then I'm going to add a little bit of those colors, those peachy colors, to the clouds as well. Carefully not going over the entire cloud. I really like all the colors, other colors that we have in there. We're just adding to them. So I'm going to mix up a little bit more of that pink and the warm peachy colors, making it more of a coral, and add a little bit of that as well. I find that all pastel colors look nice together, so you can't go wrong. You don't have to guess and worry about any of them possibly not looking nice together, because they're all going to look really pretty. By taking a little bit of blue with those warm colors and mixing it, I'm getting a nice smoky, almost sort of like a tan color, which is really nice. It's a nice kind of earthy balance for all these pretty fluffy colors that we've got. Did I just say fluffy? And I'm just going to add a few reflections down here in the bottom, reflecting all the colors that we have in the sky, in the water, and on the sand or the beach. I'm going to rinse my brush out completely. Take a little bit of my neon yellow cool now. This is a lemon yellow. And look how gorgeous that looks with a little bit of white over top of it. Not only looks pretty over top of the turquoise, but it looks really pretty when we add it in with the peachy tones too. So it's a really nice addition to add to this painting. And you can get the whole set of these neon paints. The only one that doesn't come in it is the neon purple violet. But now I'm just going to dab with a corner of my brush for the sun, just a tiny little dot. Now you can just use a liner brush if you want, but I'm just showing you that you can just use the corner of a little flat brush and achieve the same outcome. I'm then going to just pull gently and flick towards the bottom for the reflection in the water, You can pull and flick down like that, and you can also wiggle quickly side to side carefully for the reflection as well. I'm going to come over and add a few little wiggly lines here to create some gentle waves and shadows in the water. And here's where we're going to have the foam meet the sandy beach or the shoreline. So I'm going to start with the dark color here. In this case, we're using the blue violet, and that's going to make for the darkest colors here in this painting, and the darkest for the darkest contrast. And we're just keeping it really light and pretty. All these colors are just they just make me happy. I love using neons and pastels. Now I'm going to come in and start working and building up some midtones. So I'm taking some white with all the other colors, and I'm just going to start blending them around on here. So turquoise and white, the blue and the white with the turquoise, a little bit of even the yellow. A little bit later on I'm going to add some yellow in there. So any combination, you don't have to follow every single brush stroke along with me and every single color. You can achieve the same effect, alternating your colors and changing it up a little bit. And I think this would be really fun to paint this same scene 3 or 4 times using the same colors, but kind of just changing it up a little bit, or do like a 3 canvases and into one image like this. Those are really fun to do too. So a little bit of blue, pink, and white, and we make that really pretty purple color. It's like a lilac. With spring just around the corner, I think I'm just really inspired right now to paint some soft and pretty scenery, and I've got lots of flowers coming up on my channel, butterflies, dragonflies, so make sure you stay tuned and you hit subscribe, and also tap the bell, because by tapping the bell you're going to get notified and you won't miss out on any of my videos coming up. I'm going to go over again with my blue. And just gently pull and flick to create a little bit of a shadow and a little bit more movement, and it also helps to make the sand look wet and reflective. I'm going to work a little bit more here on the reflection in the water. I'm going to add a little bit of that neon yellow with my white. And notice how every time I do this, I'm wiping the excess off on the towel, because I'm painting wet on wet, so I happen to pick up a little bit of blue here and there, and I don't want to bring that back into the reflection. So I want a clean brush each time I go back for more of my warm colors and my brightest highlights. I want to just keep the blue for my shadow areas. So now I'm taking a little bit more of my neon yellow warm, a little bit of white, and I'm really making these clouds come to life, and you can just feel that soft, tranquil sunset back there. I usually don't paint skies yellowy turquoise like this, but I think after doing this today, this is just sort of an experiment, and sitting down and picking my favorite colors and just kind of letting go and painting whatever comes to mind. And that's when we discover a lot about ourselves and new techniques and new color combinations, is when we don't have anything planned out. We just sit there and experiment and have fun. And in this case, I realized that I love a bright turquoise sky, so I'm definitely going to be painting more of these, especially when you're combining complementary colors, so that turquoise sky pops out so nicely and brightly, not only because we're using beautiful colors by Holbein, but we've got the violet down below, so the pinky violet bluey color, which is really complementary. I'm now going to start applying the warm highlights to the foam on the shoreline here. So I'll be intensifying my reflections here and my highlights by adding a little bit more saturation to them, so keeping it nice and bright gold. So I'm concentrating on that yellow right there, the warm yellow, the neon warm yellow. It's such a beautiful shade. And I've got a little mini liner brush that I'm going to be using now to just pull and wiggle around for some little foamy bits and lines and pattern on the water. I'll now go into my turquoise and mix it with some white to make a really pretty minty color. And I'll add a little bit of that here and there in the water as well. And then I'll be taking a little bit of my neon yellow, cool, turquoise, and white and doing the same thing. So pretty much all the colors I'm going to be using and incorporating into this painting. It's just knowing where to put them, how much of each color to add, that will, change the feeling and the temperature of the painting quite a bit. There's so many different color combinations here that we could go with, and the more white you use, the softer it's going to appear, and less white, it's going to be a lot more intense and saturated. So keep that in mind, and I hope you guys have fun experimenting with this. This is one of my favorite new little seascapes that I've done so far this year. Now you can see that I'm bringing in a little bit more of those warm colors. So I've got some peach there on either side of the brightest reflection from the sun. So I've added the neon yellow warm, a little bit of pink, a little bit of neon orange and white, all three of those colors. And then a little bit more of that minty color. So here and there, just gently adding, and all the colors complementing one another. And then a few more little brush strokes here, and I'll almost be done. I'm just going to add a little bit more white. I've got just straight white on my brush, no water at all when I'm adding the brightest highlights for my sun and the reflection. And I'm going to follow and make it go, line it up so that it goes right down into the water and right down into the foreground. So I hope you guys are enjoying these painting tutorials that I've been bringing to my channel lately, as well as what's on Patreon. There's lots of extra content on there for you, exclusive content and bonus videos and footage, so be sure to check that out. So I'm going to add a little bit more depth by painting the top of the canvas with a bit of that blue there. That is also a really, really nice way to bring those clouds together and that perspective, because it makes the outer edges a little bit darker, and that draws us into the horizon. Back over to my little liner brush here, and I'm just using, it's actually a nail art brush, micro mini liner brush. I got a whole set of these and they're really nice, but like the brush itself, the hair is really nice to use, but the part of the brush in the center where it separates from the beaded area is falling apart. So I wouldn't recommend, I'm not going to leave a link to recommend these brushes just because of that. That being said, I'm still going to use the end of them because the brush itself is really, really good. So if you want to get some nice liner brushes, think outside of the box and look in the nail art section on Amazon or when shopping for brushes. So I'm just going to carefully lift the tape off here, and then it'll give it a nice clean framed in edge here to this painting, and I'm really, really happy with this one. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching this today and want to paint along. Be sure to tag me in your posts on Instagram or Facebook, and in fact feel free to join our Facebook group. I'll leave a link below for that. There's lots to see and learn about and share there. So have a wonderful day, guys. Happy painting, and I'll see you all soon in my next video. Bye.